If you're a PGA Tour fan right now, this is one of those weeks where everything feels huge at the same time. You've got the biggest non-major event in golf about to start, the entire golf world watching, storylines everywhere, and suddenly three completely different situations are colliding right before the first tee shot is even hit. And honestly, it's the kind of moment that reminds you why this tournament week always feels different from any other stop on the schedule. Thousands of fans are already arriving, the atmosphere is building, and the spotlight is fully on Ponte Vedra Beach. But behind the scenes, there are some serious conversations happening around the tournament, around some of the biggest names in golf, and even around the future status of this event itself. We've got one story that shows just how massive this tournament has become for the entire region around it. Another involving one of the biggest stars in the sport dealing with a situation that could completely change how this week unfolds. And a third conversation that has fans, analysts, and players debating something that could reshape the history of professional golf. Three big stories, all happening right now, all connected to this week. So today we're going to break down everything that's going on around this tournament. And trust me, some of this is way bigger than it might seem at first. Before we get into it, if you're a real PGA Tour fan who follows the tour every week like I do, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. PGA Tour Today is a brand new channel, and the goal right now is to reach 10,000 subscribers with a community of real golf fans who love talking about the tour. So let's start with the first story, because this one really shows how massive this tournament has become, not just for golf, but for an entire region. When people talk about the Players' Championship, they usually focus on the golf. The island green on 17, the pressure, the stacked field, and the drama every year at TPC Sawgrass. But what a lot of fans don't realize is that this event has become an absolute economic powerhouse for Northeast Florida. And this week is expected to prove that once again. According to the St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce, the tournament is projected to generate around $150 million in economic impact for the region. And that's not just a big number for headlines. Local officials say businesses in the area literally plan for this week every year because of how much activity it brings. Scott Maynard, the Senior Vice President of Economic Development for the Chamber, explained that this influx of visitors creates a huge wave of spending across the entire area. More than 200,000 unique visitors are expected to walk through the gates during the week. Think about that for a second. 200,000 people traveling into one area for a golf tournament. Hotels fill up, short-term rentals get booked out, restaurants and bars are packed every night. And even services like ride shares see a massive spike as fans move between the course, hotels, and everything happening around the area. Out of that massive number, roughly $40 million is considered direct economic impact. That means money being spent immediately in the local community during the tournament week itself. But here's something a lot of people overlook. The impact doesn't stop when the final putt drops on Sunday. The global exposure of the tournament actually brings people back later in the year. Fans watch the tournament, see the stadium course, see the area around Ponte Vedra Beach, and months later they return to play the course themselves or vacation in St. Johns County. When you factor in all of that tourism connected to the tournament's prestige, the total annual economic impact of TPC Sawgrass jumps to about $234 million. That is incredible for one golf event. And it's not just businesses benefiting either. One of the things that makes the Players' Championship special compared to many other sporting events is the charitable side. Every year, the tournament generates somewhere between $8 and $9 million in charitable donations for the Northeast Florida community. And this has been happening for decades. Since the tournament moved to Pontevedra Beach in 1977, more than $100 million has been donated to local causes. That is honestly one of the coolest parts of this tournament. So, when fans start arriving this week, and practice rounds already began on Tuesday with the official tournament starting Thursday, the excitement isn't just about the leaderboard. There is also a lot happening around the event itself. This year, fans will also see new technology integrations and upgraded spectator experiences. The PGA Tour is trying to modernize the tournament atmosphere and make the entire week even bigger for the fans attending. When you step back and look at everything, the crowds, the money flowing into the community, the global attention, and the charitable impact, it really reinforces why this event has always felt bigger than a normal tour stop. But while all of that excitement is building around the tournament, there is another situation developing involving one of the biggest stars in the game right now, and it could seriously affect what happens this week. Because a certain defending champion is dealing with a problem that suddenly has fans wondering whether he will even be ready when the tournament begins. And the timing could not be worse. So let's talk about the second story. This one adds some real tension to the week, and it involves one of the biggest names in the entire sport, Rory McIlroy. If you followed what happened last week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill Club and Lodge, you probably already know something was not right. Rory withdrew from the tournament on Saturday because of muscle spasms in his back. At the time, the hope was that it would not be a big issue, and that he would recover quickly and arrive early to prepare for the Players' Championship. But things have not gone quite that smoothly. Speaking to Golf Channel earlier in the week, McIlroy admitted that the injury has been more stubborn than expected. Instead of traveling early to TPC Sawgrass in Pontevedra Beach, he stayed home in South Florida for a couple more days to continue treatment. His exact words were that the back is being a bit more stubborn than they thought. That is the part that made a lot of fans raise their eyebrows. This is not just any tournament for Rory. He is the defending champion and also a two-time winner of the Players. It is a course he knows extremely well, and normally he would have a full preparation week with practice rounds and media appearances. Instead, he has not even been able to hit balls since the injury happened. The current plan is for McIlroy to arrive on Wednesday, just one day before the tournament begins. Because of the limited preparation time, it is very unlikely he will play a full practice round before his first tee time. His opening round is scheduled for 1:42 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. Originally, he was also supposed to hold a 7:45 a.m. press conference on Wednesday, but that media event is now considered unlikely to happen even if he arrives as planned. So what we might see is one of the biggest stars in golf walking straight into one of the toughest tournaments of the year with almost no preparation. There is one small silver lining. If there is anyone who probably needs less practice at TPC Sawgrass, it is Rory. He has played the course many times and knows every angle and every tricky section of those greens. Still, coming into a tournament like this with a lingering back issue is far from ideal. TPC Sawgrass demands precision on every shot. If your swing feels even slightly off, the course can punish you quickly. That is why this situation is so interesting heading into Thursday. Even with all of this uncertainty, McIlroy is still listed as the second betting favorite at 13-1 odds according to DraftKings. That shows just how much respect people still have for his game, even when he is not at 100%. But whether he can actually defend his title under these circumstances is a completely different question. And the next few days will tell us a lot about how serious this injury really is, especially with another huge stretch of the season coming up, including the Masters tournament. But while Rory's situation is creating uncertainty heading into the week, another conversation is happening around the Players' Championship that could be even bigger in the long run. One former champion of this event was asked a question that has been floating around the golf world for years. Should the Players actually become golf's fifth major? And his reaction to that idea was very interesting. Now let's get into the third story. This is a conversation that comes up almost every year around this tournament, but this time it got a very interesting reaction from someone who knows this event extremely well. Justin Thomas. Thomas is making his second start of the PGA Tour season this week, and it has already been a very emotional stretch for him. He recently underwent back surgery and made his return to competition last week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. But the comeback did not go the way anyone hoped. He shot 79 in both rounds, finished 14 over par, and ended up dead last in the field at Bay Hill. Thomas admitted afterward that the performance felt humiliating. So heading into the Players' Championship this week at TPC Sawgrass, you can imagine he is highly motivated to turn things around. After all, he is not just another player in the field. He is a former Players' Champion who won this tournament in 2021. During media conversations this week, reporters asked him about something that caught a lot of attention. The PGA Tour recently released a promotional video for the Players, and the final line of that commercial said, "March is going to be major." That immediately sparked debate again about whether the Players' Championship should actually be considered the fifth major in golf. When reporters asked Justin Thomas what he thought when he saw that tagline, his answer was short. He said, "Probably the same thing everybody else's was." When they asked him to elaborate, he replied, "I don't think I need to." It was pretty clear from his reaction that he does not believe the Players should be classified as a major championship. The reason this debate is complicated comes down to something bigger happening in professional golf right now: the split between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf. If the Players' Championship were ever elevated to major status, there would be a serious issue. Some of the best golfers in the world are currently not eligible to play in the tournament. Players like Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Joaquin Niemann compete on the LIV circuit and are not allowed to compete at TPC Sawgrass under current rules. That creates a major problem. You cannot realistically call something a major championship if some of the best players in the world are not eligible to play in it. Interestingly, golf analyst Brandel Chambly recently argued that the Players should actually become a major. His reasoning was that historically, the tournament has had the strongest field in professional golf. But with the current divide between tours, that argument is no longer as strong because the field does not include everyone. Until that situation changes, many people in the sport believe the Players has no realistic chance of becoming golf's fifth major, no matter how prestigious the event already is. When you step back and look at all three stories happening this week, they reveal a lot about the current moment in the PGA Tour. On one side, the Players' Championship continues to grow as a massive global event, bringing in hundreds of thousands of fans and generating more than $150 million in economic impact. At the same time, one of the biggest stars in the sport, Rory McIlroy, is arriving late with a lingering injury that could completely change the tournament. And then there is the bigger debate about where this event truly sits in the hierarchy of professional golf. Is it already golf's unofficial fifth major, or will it always remain just outside that category? Either way, weeks like this remind you why the Players' Championship always feels different. The stage is huge, the pressure is real, and the storylines begin even before the first tee shot. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Players' Championship should ever become the fifth major in golf, or should the four majors stay exactly the way they are? Leave your opinion in the comments, because I am really curious to see where fans stand on this. And if you enjoy talking about the PGA Tour like this, real conversations and real opinions from fans who watch every week, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. PGA Tour Today is a brand new channel, and the goal right now is to build a community of true golf fans and reach our first 10,000 subscribers. So, if you love the PGA Tour as much as I do, you are definitely in the right place.